Adam Sterling on CFAX 1070.
Great deal of problems worldwide for children, and particularly children in poverty, but there are a lot of people making some very serious attempts and very successful attempts to make sure that you can change some of those issues. A well-known Victorian has been on the move, setting up fundraising initiatives to help impoverished individuals all over the world. How is that program set up? How much has been raised? Success rates? Where has his travels taken him? Going to talk to a man who has been in the real estate business in this town for quite some time, and he's now devoting his time now as an entrepreneur to trying to help people in other areas. As a matter of fact, he has traveled all over the world. You're going to hear more about that in just a few moments as we talk with Taylor Conroy, entrepreneur, used to be known as Condo Conroy. He's joining us on the phone line right now to talk more about some of these issues. Mr. Taylor, good of you to take time out of your day. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thanks for having me, Mike.
Listen, it's been a long time since you've heard anybody call you Condo Conroy.
He has been. Actually, I think some of my friends still call me that. I don't even know if they actually know my real name.
Well, you were around the real estate business for quite some time. You sold for RE/MAX. I think you and I had a meeting about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. We were looking at some condo developments, my wife and I, and you were very gracious and showed us through a couple of units. But we'll leave that for the time being. Let's take a look at this organization that you've set up. Today is the kickoff day. Is that correct?
Yeah, today's the launch day after 18 months of building it. Since, about April 2011 is when we started.
Tell me, what was the initiative that got you going on this, and why would you leave a highly lucrative area of success in the real estate business to be involved in helping people in other parts of the world?
Good question. The quick 1-minute answer is I went on a trip to Kenya and Uganda in 2009. It took me a while to figure out what would be my kind of highest and best use in the philanthropic sector. I knew that I didn't want to go, back there and just kind of hold orphans because I'm not good at holding babies. And anything that I build kind of falls apart within the next 2 days, so I wasn't going to go over there and build schools myself. So I wanted to take what I was good at, which was marketing and sales, and I'm comfortable around finances, so I found myself in the fundraising sector to be the best fit. And then I did a fundraiser, maybe April 2011, raised $10,000 with what took about 3 hours worth of work, and then the light bulb went off, and I was like, this. Not only was it incredibly fun, my friends were thanking me for getting them to get involved in the first place, and I thought this could scale, that other people could use the exact same system to raise $10,000 in 3 hours too.
What are you calling the organization?
It's called Change Heroes.
Change Heroes.
Yeah, and it's called Change Heroes because we believe that everyone has a hero inside them that's ready to change the world and is just kind of waiting for the right time. And the reason for that, our premise is we go after people that are between the ages of about 25 and 45 is our target demographic.
Yes.
And that age range doesn't inherently give to charity. We're busy. We're young professionals,
of course,
trying to make our mark in the world kind of thing. And we think that if we give those people a way to make a massive impact in a really short amount of time that can actually fit into their life, then they'll do it. And that's what Change Heroes is about.
Well, look, you became a firefighter at the age of 20, all right? Yeah. You went on to become highly successful in the realty world with RE/MAX. Here's the issue. You're quite right. That demographic, 25 up to about 40, 45, spends a lot of time trying to, make a living and put the 3 meals on the table per day for their families, or they just like to go to the bars and have a good time every night. But here's the other issue. When you first started to work on this, what kind of reaction did you get from your friends and from your colleagues?
Well, that's the thing with this is people, because we're so busy, and there's also a lot of other things that kind of get involved with why our demographic doesn't necessarily give to charity or get involved in a lot of philanthropic initiatives inherently. And that's because we've heard tons of stories about people, charities not getting the money to where it's supposed to go, and obscenely high administration costs, and people just kind of giving and, kind of hoping that their money gets to where the charity says it's going to go. And what we did is we implemented a bunch of tools so that we could show people the school that they got involved in. So the first fundraiser I did was back in 2011, was to build a school in Kenya. And I got 33 of my friends to give $3.33 a day for 3 months. And that was on the premise that we would give them pictures of the school and show them the kids that are going into the school and show them exactly where every single dollar went.
Yes.
And so that's what we're trying to do, is not only get as many people to give, $3.33 a day as possible, at the price of a cup of coffee, but we want to give people so much incredible feedback that they look at it and they actually see the difference that they've made on the other side of the world and get addicted to giving, and then incorporate giving into their daily kind of financial decisions from here on out. Ideally, 20 or 30 years ahead of when they would have gotten involved in giving in the first place.
Now, one of the things we have to establish with you as well is that you've been building this Change Heroes for the last 18 months. You're getting reaction from people all over North America. More specifically, what countries are you currently concentrating on? Because there's a lot of very needy children worldwide.
Yeah. Right now, we're focusing really heavily on girls' empowerment. So for the whole month of October, we're partnering with a fantastic organization called Room to Read.
Yes.
Room to Read works all over Southeast Asia, a number of countries in Africa. So far, we've funded projects in Kenya, Tanzania, Sierra Leone, Nepal, and India. And we've funded about 30 projects, all for $10,000 each, impacting about 30,000 kids so far. And our mission now, like today is the launch day. All of those campaigns that we've done over the last year and a half have all just been tests, kind of to see what works, what doesn't work, what gets people really happy to give, what doesn't work at all. And so we've been testing, and today is the launch day where we're going to go really, really big with it. We've got hundreds of people signed up that want to run these campaigns. And if we're successful in achieving our goal, what we want to do is impact, we'd like to raise $1 million within the next 90 days for Room to Read. And the thing is, it's not tough. It sounds like, $1 million is kind of out there, but realistically, it's only 100 people doing one of these campaigns successfully. And we've had people from the ages of 22 raise $10,000. It took them, 3 hours to prepare, about 2 weeks for the funds to come in. We've had a guy who is about 55 do the exact same system. So it works kind of across the board. All we need is 100 people that are willing to take, an evening, the time between dinner and bedtime, to prepare a campaign, launch it out, and they can watch $10,000 come in to impact the lives of hundreds of kids on the other side of the world.
You've raised how much money so far on this launch day?
During the test phase, $300,000.
$300,000, and that's going to this whole question of reading and educating girls in these various countries.
That $300,000 is funded predominantly schoolhouses in Kenya, India, Sierra Leone, Nepal, and Tanzania. And what we're concentrating now on is girls' empowerment and education, predominantly in Southeast Asia and Africa.
I watched a special the other day on educating girls in Afghanistan. Boy, I'll tell you, that takes an awful lot of courage to put girls into a school. As a matter of fact, it is led by a Canadian. In that particular area, she left her work in Toronto. She is Afghanian, and she went over and she's educating girls over there. And we all know what the problem is with the Taliban. When I come back, I want to ask you about what happens with organizations that are funded out of North America, going into countries where there is political turmoil and strife that's going on, and what these kids are up against. Can we do that?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll return in just a few moments as we continue with Taylor Conroy, entrepreneur, heading up Change Heroes. You'll hear more about that in just a few moments. You're on CFAX 1070. I'm Terry Moore.
Here's what happened this morning with Al Farabee.
Roberta, you are a winner with Beat Your Bills.
Oh, wow. Great. Wonderful.
Got up to $500 to beat your bills. Okay?
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Al.
And next time.
Start your day with local news every 15 minutes. Plus, we're giving away tickets to Caesar Milan and my 21 for 21 campaign for CFAX Status Anonymous.
Mornings with Al Farabee. Weekdays 5 to 9 on CFAX 1070.
If you have trees, shrubs, or soil, then you need the expertise of Bartlett Tree Experts. Now, tree tips from Bartlett.
As we venture out into our yards and gardens over the next few months, the results of pest and disease damage become apparent. Before you see the damage, it is advisable to have an arborist inspect your plants and trees, and often the issues can be solved through traditional or organic treatments, ensuring the health of your investment. For the tree company with local knowledge and global resources, visit bartlett.com or call 1-877-BARTLETT.
The Royal Museum Shop. Intriguing and unique.
Where did you find that cute mammoth plush?
The Royal Museum Shop. It's a birthday present for my niece, and I bought this beautiful jewelry crafted by a local artist as a memento of my visit to the museum.
There's something for everyone at the Royal Museum Shop. Clothing, jewelry, books, from postcards to original artwork. Many items with a distinctly BC flavor. There's no admission fee, and your purchases support the Royal BC Museum. Whatever the occasion, memories begin at the Royal Museum Shop.
Hello?
You don't know me, but I know your husband.
What?
He's been doing things you might find, frankly, a little upsetting.
Excuse me?
He's been throwing his juice cartons in the trash.
But Mike would never do that.
Yeah, he did. And I'm sorry to tell you. Just keep an eye on him.
Who is this?
Oh, call me O.J. Carton.
Every juice carton you don't recycle says something about you. Return it. It's worth it.
One of the most exciting sports cars ever built could be yours. Get your BC Children's Hospital Dream Lottery tickets now to beat the early bird deadline for a 2012 Maserati Gran Turismo Sport Convertible. Take the car or $175,000 in cash. Hurry, only 4 days till early bird deadline. Tickets at Overweighty Foods or 1-888-887-8771.
Let's dream big, and there's smiles all around.
Ticket buyers must be 19 or older. Know your limit, play within.
So, Sue, how's your dad doing since we met?
Well, we took your advice, and he's moving to the Renaissance Retirement Residence this fall.
That's great news. My mom loves it there. She's really enthused about the food, the socializing, and being so close to a shopping center.
And Dad is really pleased about the price.
Fabulous meals, large, full kitchen suites, and a warm sense of community. The Renaissance Retirement Residence. Come see the future that honors the past. Make a viewing appointment today. Visit RenaissanceVictoria.com.
I'm Terry Moore sitting in for Adam Sterling. Adam is not well. He's at home, and we'll see whether he's available to get back to work tomorrow as well. Standing by on the telephone line, Taylor Conroy is an entrepreneur, former RE/MAX real estate agent, and has taken his time and his money and some of his friends as well, and he's now raising funds for an organization that he's put together called Change Heroes. The website address for people who take a closer look at this, Taylor, is www.thechangeheroes.com. Is that correct?
That's the one, yeah.
Okay, thechangeheroes.com altogether. All right, in all lowercase. All right, let's take a look at this issue with the areas that you're going into. You talked about Nepal, India, Kenya, Sierra Leone, and Tanzania. Are we dealing here in a situation where, with any of these areas that you get into, are there political ramifications that you have to go through before you can get in there to do the work?
You know, in almost every developing country, there's a ton of issues, and it doesn't even just happen when there's political unrest or civil wars. It can be as simple as a mudslide. It can be a lot of things that can get in the way and be obstacles in getting in the way of building schools and getting to the people where the money is intended to go. And that's why we partner with organizations that are big, but still agile. Like the organizations that we've partnered with for the month of October is Room to Read, and have established over 13,000 libraries all over the world. And we've had one of our advisors has been to Cambodia to visit one of the libraries that he helped fund himself. So we partner with organizations that are not only kind of entrenched and in partnership with the communities that they're working in, but are agile enough to pivot if needed, for regardless of what comes up politically or weather dependent.
What countries have you visited personally?
I've been to 33 countries. I've been to every continent. So let's see, to list them off might take a while. The ones. Well,
you don't have to give me all of them, but give me an indication, if you can, about the things that you have seen and the things that have hit you emotionally the most.
Okay, well, the first two bus over to the head that I took while traveling was in Uganda.
Yes.
And the reason for that is I went there with the expectation of an adventure, of having a lot of fun, and I got to we went to this village way at the top of the Rwenzori Mountains, which is on the border of Uganda and the Congo.
Yes.
And just saw kids everywhere, and I was baffled. There's the beautiful kids running around, chasing our SUV, having a blast. And I said to Zach, the guy that I went there with, I said, Zach, there are kids everywhere. I mean, why are there so many kids? And he looks over at me seriously and says, Taylor, 70% of this village has AIDS. He says their parents are all dead.
My God.
And that, coupled with meeting kids there that are 2 and 3 years old, and knowing that they've got about a 50% chance of living to the age of 5, and it's not because they're going to get something that is totally unpreventable. They're dying because of preventable diseases. It's malaria that they don't have access to a medical center to get to. That all of these things most of them are preventable, and which comes back to why we want to be really involved in education.
I can recall a drive that was used not that long ago to supply netting and so on for beds, so you could keep the mosquitoes out.
Absolutely, there's a million causes, and the reason that we focus on education is we're not just teaching. These schools aren't just teaching math and science kind of thing. When you're talking about a girl going to secondary school, she's learning how to make key life decisions, how to say no to sex, how to put off marriage from 14 to hopefully in her late teens or maybe early 20s, so that she actually have a choice in their life, kind of thing. And that's a lot of what these kids are learning in these schools, and that what we in North America sometimes overlook. We think, we're just trying to teach them education. They're learning a lot of things. They're getting off the street a lot of times, and they're potentially avoiding forced prostitution, sex trafficking, way deeper issues that all tie into education, which is why, everyone said it, like Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon to fight extreme poverty, and that's what we agree with as well.
Is the Sudan on your radar?
Sudan there's so much unrest in Sudan right now that it's really tough to find an NGO that's working very efficiently.
Right.
It's not one that we're funding actively right now because of so much of the political unrest.
From what you've seen so far, you figure you get $1 million in 90 days. You got $300,000 kicking into this as you kick off today. Tell me across North America some of the areas that people are picking up on this and they're saying, yeah, we'd love to help.
Well, back about a year ago, I did a TEDx talk, and I was talking about this whole platform, how anyone could raise $10,000 in 3 hours. Yeah. And that was the beginning, because that's before we even built the system, but we had about 2,000 people sign up saying that they wanted to do it. And that's what kind of led us to think, oh my gosh, there's a need here. If we give people the right tool, it takes a small amount of time, big impact, then they'll do it. So we've had people sign up from, I don't know, I'd say probably 30 different states, and a lot of, it's very heavy in California and New York.
Any high-profile people involved other than yourself?
We have John Wood is the gentleman who started Room to Read. He was a CEO, or not CEO, sorry. He was an executive at Microsoft, and he's written a best-selling book. He's a fantastic guy. Right. And I got to meet up with him in New York about a week ago and told him all about what we're doing. And he's since offered to come on a trip with us to Cambodia to show us these libraries and to show a bunch of the people, like let's say a bunch of people or 100 people ran campaigns and raised $10,000 in 3 hours to build libraries through John Wood's organization. We're going to select 12 of those people to bring them to Cambodia to show them the libraries that they've built. And John's going to come on that trip with us. And yes, we're in talks with probably maybe about half a dozen very high-level celebrities, but I wouldn't want to mention their names before they. That's quite all right.
So do you have any? Because in this kind of a situation, you need movie stars and people like that in order to get the word out. Because boy, can they ever generate a heck of a lot of money and a lot of stuff going on. I just talked to the politicians in the United States about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a good segue. Tonight, which I didn't mention before, tonight is the airing of an unbelievable film called Half the Sky.
Yes.
And this is a book that kind of changed everything for me. It's all about the plight for women and girls and gender-based violence and the massive imbalance that we have in the world between women and men and girls and boys. And it's a best-selling book written by 2 New York Times writers.
Yes.
And they've put it into a film full 10 really high-level celebrities, Meg Ryan and Eva Menendez, and a bunch of other really high-level women celebrities have gone.
Where is it being shown?
It's on PBS tonight at 9.
On PBS at 9. Time. Okay, yeah. And these are the kind of people then that you hope that you're going to be working with even on a regular basis in this area. If people want to get in touch with you and they want to be involved, because one of the things we're finding out now with a lot of the charitable organizations, and probably yours included, is that people are the average individual here in the Greater Victoria area, and I think probably right across the country, are getting a little tired of being nickeled and dimed when it comes to can you give us this, can you give us that, etc. etc., etc. But certainly these are very worthy organizations, but people are getting exhausted because of the financial situation we're having in Canada and North America.
It is, yeah, I totally appreciate that. It's kind of like donor fatigue.
It is
called,
yeah.
And that's the reason that we've innovated this platform the way we have. It's completely different. It's not there's no sign whatsoever of a begging, a pleading, of guilting someone into giving.
Right.
Like that's a lot of why this was born in the first place. You know all those pictures that you see of children that are malnourished and distended stomachs in Africa?
Yes.
And it's almost like guilting people into giving.
Yes.
This is the antithesis of that. This is no negative emotions involved whatsoever. And we tell all of our campaign captains, or the people that are kind of trying to raise the $10,000, there's zero poverty porn, is what we call those kind of images. This is all positive. This is all really great feelings and getting people to give because they want to give and they're happy to give. And then we give them the massive follow-up so that they not only are happy with that one give, but they continue to do it, ideally on like a bi-monthly basis.
Good point. All right, listen, Taylor, we really appreciate your time. Once again, for the listener who wants to get involved in this, give us the web address and how they can do it.
TheChangeHeroes.com.
TheChangeHeroes.com. That's TheChangeHeroes.com. Listen, great success with this, my friend. I hope things work out very well for you. Are you there? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much for your time today.
Pleasure.
All right. There goes Taylor Conroy, former real estate agent, used to be known as Condo Conroy, and you can go to thechangeheroes.com, raising funds for reading for kids across the world. All right, stand by, because after the 11:30 news, we'll be joined by Adrian Dix of the NDP party, and coming up at the 11:30 news break, the annual fall progress report from BC's Auditor General shows that there is still some room for improvement. James Gardner has the news next on CFAX 1070.
News, weather, traffic, sports. Mornings with Al Farabee. Weekdays 5 to 9 on